Maryland, extremely talented, well-coached, fun team to watch in Maryland coming in on Wednesday, and then a chance to go to East Lansing with the championship on the line if we can take care of business and hold it down at home.
Dennis, you want to stop?
Yeah, by all accounts, you guys have had an exceptional year, but with March, when it's good, when it's good time, how aware is your team of just how much you'll be defined here in March with what's remaining?
We haven't talked about how this team will be defined. We need to play better. We need to play more physicality. We haven't made better than 35% from three since January 27th. So, you know, the only thing we've talked about when it comes to defining moments is that championships bond them for life as brothers. That's it. So, other than, hey, in 10 years from now, if you don't do this and don't do that, like, it's just, if we win a championship, there's something special that hopefully drives us to work a little harder, to get out of bed with a little hop in our step. But for the most part, no, we're not talking about how March is. We know, like, we know what March is. It's what everyone points to. It's why CBS feels so different on a Sunday in early March. So no, we haven't. We've had, I think, bigger things to talk about.
You were asked about fatigue yesterday. You mentioned there's like 1 or 2% of guys that are just like dogs or whatever. But is Wolf and Donaldson, how driven are those guys, would you say?
How driven? I mean, it's hard to play at this level if you don't have some drive. Like, just to compete in the Big Ten, you've got to be a pretty good player with some drive. I think they're driven players. I think they wouldn't be here if they weren't. It's not as if both of them are jumping 47 inches and whatnot. You know, if you see a guy that's a good shooter, there's a good chance he wasn't born a good shooter. If there's a guy that handles the ball and passes like Danny Wolf, he probably wasn't born with those dribbling skills. So I have a lot of respect for the guys that do it at this level. So I would say they're very, very driven.
I know there are challenges with playing a lot of games, and there's film out there on you, but is there anything from the LA trip, Fort Myers trip, games before that you're trying to get back to that you feel like this team could reach down the stretch here?
Yeah, the level of confidence and belief. And, we have the evidence that it's happened. You know, some of our guys have done it in the past. But I mean, even just last night, and I think in the first 4 minutes, we have 2 shots point blank at the rim, and Boswell is an elite defender. The guy is like I said, I have a lot of respect for Boswell. I mean, that guy he impacts the game in a lot of ways other than his shooting percentage. And so he strips the ball a couple times at the rim. We get a rebound that bounces off of our chest. I think they scored a 3 on that possession, and then we missed 2. And so that's the way we started the game without the force and attention to detail we needed to set the tone. And even when Illinois wasn't shooting well and playing well, they were able to hang around. And then in the second half, they turned it up a notch. And when a team has the physical capabilities that they have, you don't want them to turn it up a notch because of your mistakes. And I feel like that was a big part of it. And once again, these possession, we've had so many one possession games, and it seems like every game now the opposition's banking in 2 threes. They're making us pay for every mistake. And so we have to eliminate a lot of these mistakes if we're going to we don't have the margin. We just don't have the margin to make a lot of errors and not make shots and turn the ball over.
And then with Ruben, I know he's still working back, but is the plan to put him back in the starting line once he's better?
Yeah, we need to see Ruben today. We need to see Ruben tomorrow. I mean, last I'd heard 2 days before he got back, he had lost over 10 pounds, and we appreciate him trying to play yesterday and giving it his all. We haven't talked about what lineups. We're probably going to tweak some things, but we haven't made that decision yet.
Chris?
A couple things. Sam Walters, what's his status right now?
I'm just going to defer to the training staff with Sam.
All right. And then Oscar Goodman, he's practicing with you?
He is,
What
yes.
have you seen from him, and what do you like about him?
Man, I think he's got a real winning DNA. I think he's someone that really, really cares about his teammates. He's played with physicality in practice. It's an adjustment, and that's why we wanted to bring him over, so this adjustment would happen now. And just think he's going to be a guy that impacts winning. He's done it his entire career. He addresses some of our deficiencies, which is the physicality, which is the ability to get to basketballs. I mean, he's quick off the floor, off 2 feet. He likes contact, and so we think that he'll be someone that the Michigan fans are going to enjoy watching.
When he does play, what position do you see him at, and what's his skill set when it comes to scoring?
He's been a 4-man, a power forward up to this point. He's a really good driver. He's an aggressive finisher around the basket. In our finishing drills, he's one of our better finishers now. He has a reliable 3-point shot when he has time and his feet are set, and so now we're trying to expand his game where he's a better shooter, which will set up his quick first step drive in the ball. But most importantly, he's awesome to coach, and he's got the personality traits that you want from a really talented basketball player.
Tony?
Yeah, Dusty, it feels, plenty of time to go, and you can obviously hit another gear, but it feels like from the beginning of this season, the team has sort of maybe plateaued or not continued to take steps. And we've talked about turnovers, missing shots, sort of things, but are those the reasons why that might be, or do you even, I guess, agree with that assessment that maybe that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Michigan State is a good team. I mean, I think teams like that cause you to not look your best. I think Illinois is a really good team. Rutgers has 2 guys that are going to be picked in the top 4 of the draft. So I do think our opponents have something to do with how we're looking right now. I like to give those guys credit. And so, but are we playing our best basketball? Absolutely not. But, we got to make some shots. We got to finish better. We got to defend better. We got to rebound better. We've got to coach better. We got to do everything better. And I just love the fact that we've responded when we've been in these situations in the past.
What do you say to, I guess, the thought or concept that maybe, 14-4, clearly you guys are somewhat built for this league, but maybe just on the fly, maybe this particular group wasn't built for all the bumps and bruises that a Big Ten needs. However, the run and gun style of maybe of a March and playing tight games is there. Do you see that vision as like, hey, this could be a good March team? Not that it's not a good Big Ten team.
Do I think this team can be a good March team?
Yeah, that's
yes,
the
I
goal.
do.
Alejandro?
You mentioned yesterday being a little bit mystified that some shots weren't falling. Do you like the looks you've been getting, and otherwise, are there other factors that you feel are at play?
For the most part, yeah, we like the looks. We cut down our 3-point attempts because of the way Illinois was guarding us. I think they baited us into shooting a couple of those 8 or 9 foot floaters. We didn't hit the roll man well enough. If we're going to be in a very good offensive team, we're going to have to be able to hit the roll man when their windows are there, because we have a roll man that's a really good finisher on the move. But yeah, I mean, the threes, I thought 90% of them were clean, open, paint touch. I thought the last game at home, I thought several of them rimmed in and out. And so I don't know if that's confidence or the ball's just not dropping. What we try to do as a staff is disconnect the shots going into how we respond, sprint back on defense, communicate, play with physicality, attack the rebounds. And that's probably the area that we need to improve on the most, because it's, guys go through shooting woes. There's confidence, there's fatigue, there's whatever the case. And so obviously there are some teams in our league that are much, much deeper than others, and there are others that need to figure it out. But also, we need to trust our bench a little bit more. I was very happy with the way those young guys came in and played the last 5 minutes of yesterday's game. They played good basketball. They showed an ability to trust each other and try to do the right thing.
Charles?
Yeah, Will seemed pretty frustrated after the game, saying that there seemed to be a lack of attention to detail. What's the best way to avoid that going forward this weekend and postseason play?
I think just get outside of yourself. I think when you pour yourself into the team and you're focused on what the team needs you to do what's best for them, I think that allows you to pay more attention to the details and not be consumed with how I'm playing as an individual. And I think that's the challenge right now, and one of the challenges in our sport. It's, how do we play for something much, much bigger than ourselves, and I think that will help with us paying more attention to the details of the game. But Will visibly frustrated, as he should have been. We haven't performed the way we needed to in a championship run.
Andrew?
With Maryland, Derek Weed seems like a pretty unique player. I guess can you speak to his game and anything else about that team that stands out?
Yeah, he's extremely talented with the ball in his hands. As a passer, his ability to play out of double teams. He's a really good driver, finisher. He's got an odd game. He can finish with either hand, off either foot. He plays at his own pace. He's one of the best offensive players in America. He's going to present a lot of challenges. He's got a similar game as Danny, though, where they're unique. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Juju and Vlad will be a couple Rams battling down on the block. And we need to do a nice job on Gillespie and Miguel and Rice. Those guys are potent offensive players.
Chris?
You talked about the quick line. How much of that is maybe stepping in and maybe a shot every now and then? You're taking some long threes, it seems like. Are there opportunities, do you think, for these guys maybe to move up just a little bit in some of these shots? Or in Illinois' case, it seemed like they're moving you off the line, obviously.
Yeah, they do a nice job of running you off the line, and they stay at home on shooters. I'm just trying to, we shot one in transition that was too deep, and I thought we had a better advantage to start a driving kick. Vlad's was a standstill in a trail spot, step into it. I thought LJ had clean looks. I'm trying to think of Roddy's was a paint touch. It looked great from my vantage point. I mean, it hit the back of the rim back and straight. I'm trying to think of Namari always shoots left wing deep in transition. I think sometimes that's just a matter of he's running a lane, and where he catches the ball, he's not going to have time to dribble again and then get the shot up. They'll be matched up, so he's got to take the catch and shoot shot. And it's probably, from a number standpoint, smarter to shoot a 23-footer off the catch than it is a 21-footer off the bounce. For most teams, for most of basketball, for our team, it's actually about the same. But I don't think Namari's the one that usually shoots deep threes. Danny's was throw and chase to Vlad. We weren't able to get the 6'2" guys into the ball screen, so we wanted to look at the throw and chase. Probably in that situation, he's got a clean look from just behind the line. You can nitpick if the shot doesn't go in, you shouldn't have shot it right. I mean, we could sit up here but he had a clean look. Danny's a mid-30% shooter. Would I like to him a bit a step closer? Absolutely, but it's tough to turn those down because you're probably going to get a lesser shot in most games.
And then with the offensive rebounding, was there one thing? Was it boxing out everybody? It's cliche, but were you not physical enough? What was the problem in your opinion yesterday?
It was a combination. Early, our habits, coaching, are from day one. We don't have the habits we need to win when we're not making shots and we're not finishing in the paint and we're not making our free throws. Because we have such we got such a unique group, we've been able to mask some of that. And so we gave them some early. Like I said, the first rebound was in our hands, and stuff happens in basketball, right? I mean, stuff happens in every sport. And then the next two, we missed them. But in the second half, when we're all irritated, I mean, we were turning to go. It's mano, and sometimes the ball goes long. Sometimes it's an air ball that lands in the lap of the guy you just pushed out of bounds. So once it became an issue, then it's, it feels that way. But once we gave up several, it wasn't as if we weren't turning and blocking out. And sometimes you're turning and blocking out a guy that has 80 pounds on you, and he's not going to let you just block him out. And he's running and he's moving and he's big and he's strong. So I think it was a little bit of everything, but I thought it started with our inability to do what we needed to do to set the tone.
Anthony, you want to close this out?
Yeah, I know one of the big data points for you guys when you put this roster together was bringing guys that have won a lot of basketball games. How much can you lean on that message to them, heading into last month of the season?
Well, we've tried to lean on that in the past week, that the guys in our locker room that have won at a high level, they know what it looks like. And it takes sacrifice, it takes effort, it takes stamina. I could go on and on about what it takes, because it's really, really hard. I mean, there's 18 teams in our league, with a range of budgets and talent and experience and everything else, and so it's really, really hard. And or else everybody, I mean, right? You'd have 18 winners right now. It's the Big Ten Conference. It's the second best conference in numbers right now. So it's very, very difficult. But so we're trying to lean on experience. We're trying to, just pull everything we can out of what it's going to take to win. But yeah, we're certainly leaning on that. We have some guys in our locker room that have been on different roles. There's a few guys that won at a high level that really didn't play much, or played minimal minutes and had minimal production, but they at least know what it looks like, and they saw the guys doing it, what it looked like. So I think everyone in our locker room, staff, me, assistant coaches, support staff, players, all need to just find a way to be a little bit better. And I think the cumulative effect will be that we'll figure out a way to get over the hump.
Okay, Coach.
Thanks, guys.